I want you to look at these images very closely because what you're about to see isn't just a video. It's the exact moment my life changed and a miracle happened right before my eyes. I was driving home, just like any other day, thinking about my own problems and my own busy life, when I saw something in the middle of the road that made my heart literally stop beating for a second. At first I thought it was just a pile of discarded trash or a piece of old tire, but then I saw a tiny movement, a flicker of life in a place where death was already waiting. What you're about to witness is a hadsa so tragic, so heart-wrenching, that I debated even sharing it with you, but I had to, because if you skip even 1 second of this story, you'll miss the most unbelievable transformation I've ever seen in my entire life. You won't believe your eyes when you see what this poor soul looked like just 10 minutes after this footage was taken. I was shaking, my hands were trembling on the steering wheel, and I knew that if I didn't act in that very moment, this beautiful creature would be nothing but a memory by sunset. Please stay with me, because I promise you, the ending of this video is something you will carry in your heart forever. It's the kind of story that makes you realize how fragile life is and how much power a little bit of love can have. I remember stepping out of my car. The rain was cold and biting at my skin, and the silence of that road was deafening. Every car that passed by before me had ignored him. They saw a broken animal and chose to keep driving, but I couldn't. When I got closer, the smell of blood and wet fur hit me, and my stomach turned. He was lying there, his body twisted, his breathing so shallow, I thought every breath would be his last. I felt this overwhelming sense of guilt, not because I did it, but because we, as humans, allow this to happen. I knelt down in the mud, ruined my favorite coat, and I didn't even care. I just needed him to know that he wasn't alone. I whispered to him, "I've got you, baby. You're safe now," even though I didn't know if I could keep that promise. The look he gave me, it wasn't fear, it was a complete surrender. He had given up. He was just waiting for the darkness to take him. The journey to the hospital felt like an eternity. I was crying so hard I could barely see the road, and I kept reaching back to touch his cold fur, just to make sure he was still with me. I was pleading with God, with the universe, with anyone who would listen, to just give him 1 more hour. Just 1 more hour, so he could feel what it was like to be loved. When we burst through the clinic doors, I was hysterical. I was covered in mud and blood, screaming for help. The nurses grabbed him from my arms, and for a moment I felt so empty. I sat in that waiting room for 6 hours, staring at the clock, listening to the hum of the air conditioner, and replaying that hadsa over and over in my head. How long had he been there? How many people had looked him in the eye and accelerated? The tragedy wasn't just the accident. The tragedy was the indifference of the world. The vet finally came out, her face pale, and she told me the news was bad. He had multiple fractures, internal bleeding, and he was severely malnourished. She asked me if I wanted to put him down to end his suffering. I looked through the glass at his tiny, bandaged body, and I saw his tail give 1 microscopic twitch. That was all I needed. I told her, "No, we fight." And that's when the real miracle began. The first week was a nightmare. I slept on the floor of the clinic next to his cage because he would cry the moment I left the room. He was having terrors. His little legs would paddle as if he were trying to run away from that car again. I would sing to him, low and soft, until he fell back into a restless sleep. I spent my entire savings on his surgeries, and people told me I was crazy. They said, "It's just a dog. Why are you doing this?" But they didn't see what I saw. They didn't see the soul behind those clouded eyes. They didn't see the way he tried to lick my hand even when he couldn't lift his head. After 14 days, he finally ate his first real meal. It was just a small bowl of boiled chicken, but to me it was like a 5-course feast. I watched him swallow, and I felt this burst of hope that I can't even describe. Slowly, the bandages started coming off. The raw, bloody patches of skin began to heal, and his fur started to grow back. Not the dull, matted mess I found in the road, but a soft, golden coat that shone in the sun. But the physical healing was nothing compared to his spirit. The first time he wagged his tail properly, it hit the side of the metal crate with a loud thump, and the whole clinic erupted in cheers. We were all invested in this little fighter. Bringing him home was the scariest day of my life. I was so afraid that the trauma of the Hadsa would leave him permanently broken inside. For the first few days, he stayed in the corner of my bedroom, flinching at every sound. If I dropped a spoon, he would hide under the bed for hours. It broke my heart to see how much the world had scared him. But I stayed patient. I sat on the floor with him for hours, not touching him, just being there. I wanted him to know that my presence meant safety, not pain. And then, one evening, I was watching a movie, and I felt a heavy weight on my feet. I looked down, and there he was. He had crawled out of his corner and rested his head on my toes. He looked up at me with such pure, unadulterated love that I started crying all over again. He had forgiven the world. After everything he went through, after being left for dead, he still had the capacity to trust a human. It's a lesson I think we all need to learn. He didn't hold a grudge against the cars or the people who ignored him. He just lived for the moment he was in. You won't believe the video I'm about to show you of him at the park. Remember, this is the same dog who couldn't even stand up a month ago. Look at him now. Look at the way he runs, the way he chases the ball with so much energy that it's like he's trying to make up for all the years he lost. He's not just surviving. He is the happiest soul I have ever met. People stop us on the street and ask where I got such a beautiful, well-behaved dog, and I tell them his story. I tell them about the rain, the ditch, and the Hadsa that was supposed to kill him. I see the look of disbelief on their faces, and I realize that Phoenix, that's his name now, is a living, breathing miracle. He is proof that no matter how broken you are, no matter how much the world has beaten you down, there is always a chance for a new beginning. My life is so different now because of him. I used to worry about small things like money or my job, but now I look at him and I realize that as long as you have breath in your lungs and someone who loves you, you have everything. I want this video to be a wake-up call for everyone watching. If you see someone in pain, whether it's an animal or a human, don't be the person who keeps driving. Don't be the one who thinks someone else will handle it, because you might be the only chance that soul has at a second life. I saved Phoenix, but in so many ways, he saved me. He taught me about resilience, about the power of a quiet moment, and about the incredible beauty of a second chance. Look at his eyes now. They aren't cloudy or full of pain anymore. They are bright, clear, and full of life. Every time he greets me at the door, with his whole body wiggling in excitement, I think back to that cold road, and I thank God that I followed my instinct to stop. This is the most unbelievable journey I've ever been on, and I am so grateful that I got to share it with you. Please Don't let this story end here. Share it, talk about it, and the next time you see a tragedy in your path, have the courage to turn it into a miracle, because trust me, the reward is more than you can ever imagine. Phoenix is now sleeping at my feet, safe, warm, and loved, and that is the only ending this story ever needed. Thank you for staying until the end, for caring about a soul that the world almost forgot, and for believing in the power of love. It really does change everything. This is Phoenix's legacy, and it's just the beginning of our beautiful life together. Every day is a gift, every wag is a blessing, and every breath is a victory over the darkness that tried to take him away. We are whole again, and it's all because of one choice on a rainy day. Never underestimate the power of your own heart to heal the world, one soul at a time.